Right. So today, Meredith is out, so I'm going to do a quick little conversation around buyers for us. When I think about buyers, I have not ha heard what Meredith's conversations have been around this. So if any of this is repeat, it's always good to hear stuff that is repeat things. But when we look at buyers, the NAR does the yearly I forget what they call it, but it basically the profile of a home buyer. And when we look at the profile of a home buyer, we know that again, the largest portion of home buyers are millennials and Gen Z. And they are asked, well, where do you start when you look for houses? And it's not that they start on Zillow looking for houses. It's not going to realtor.com or looking at pretty houses. What they do is the first place that a home buyer starts, millennials and Gen Z, is they first start with how to buy a house. So if we know that the first place that home buyers are starting to buy a house, that is where all of our buyer marketing needs to be around. How to buy a house. So when you think about, okay, so the typical home buyer right now wants information. That is what they're demanding. But that information is so easy for them at their fingertips, and Homes.com, Zillow, Realtor, all of those companies are giving them that information. So if they've gone to those websites and those are lead capture websites, you've lost. You have. Because they're going to go click on one of those ads or click on one of those, see this home now, and you don't have that buyer anymore because a Zillow agent will come in, get them to sign a document, and you've lost that opportunity. So when you're building your database, obviously for step one of the four laws of lead generation, build a database. Feed it daily. Number three, communicate with it systematically. What is your communication process to communicate on how to buy a house? What are the different types of loans that they can get? Let's talk about assumable loans, 1031 exchanges, everything that you possibly can. What does the home buyer process look like? Because for them, it's daunting. For you, you've got it. But for them, it's daunting. So what are you doing before they've ever purchased their first home to make it less daunting? Now that's the communicate it with it systematically piece, but let's also talk about the lead generation piece. There's an agent out in Boston with Keller Williams who her entire business is home buyer workshops. I just saw an agent in our office, Alan Donald, put together, I think he spent $200 on a first-time home buyer workshop. In 2 weeks, he had 33 people register. He did it all online and he split that advertising expense with a lender. So it cost him $100 to have 33 home buyers. People raising their hands saying, I want to buy a home. I just don't know how to do that. An ad that we've run in the past through Command is they have these home buyer books at Keller Williams in the red ink store. And it's My First Home, I think is what it's called. And you'll run an ad saying, is 2025 the year that you're going to buy your first house? Click this link and we'll send you a free book on how to. You buy a bunch of those books, they click the link, you call them and say, hey, Stephen, this is Ben over at Keller Williams. Thank you so much for clicking that. We'd love to be a part of your first time home buyer journey. Swing by my office. When's a good time for you? And I'll give you a book and we'll sit down and kind of have a quick consultation on where you are in the process. Now, just because you have these people click on it, one of the biggest pieces I've ever seen, which is so simple and a great tool at us, uh, is just putting them on a neighborhood drip. You sit down with them, and maybe right now is not the time that they're going to buy, but you continue to sit them down. You put them in an MLS neighborhood drip. You track where they're going, and you will be shocked by the type of results that just come from that. So if I were building a buyer business, the first thing I would be doing is putting every single person in my, getting everybody loaded in my database, growing that every single day with some type of lead generation around how to buy a first home. I'd be communicating in a systematic way around how to buy your first house, giving them quick little videos, giving them fun little articles, talking about new loan programs, connecting them with lenders. And I would just be constantly dripping them on the neighborhood in which they want to be in. And that's the play. Have as many possible people doing that play as you possibly can. And I promise you, in 6, 9 months, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook and you're going to say, what happened? What questions do you have around that? What are some conversations? I want to make this more interactive. What are some questions that you guys have around that? Around buyers? What are some limiting beliefs you have around buyers? What are some challenges you're dealing with?
And I would say the biggest challenge right now is getting them over the idea that loan rates are higher, and along with house prices being higher. So I try to focus on, what the payment is and not necessarily what the house is as far as price or the rate.
I think that's a great point because the sticker shock is there, but they all have a number and much that they want to pay monthly. So we focus on that number monthly and work backwards. I think that's a great hurdle to overcome.
Hmm.
I think that another point that you're having is people saying, well, I'm waiting for the interest rates to drop. And you're going to say, what? You're going to wait 50 more years because that's never happened before.
I suggest if that's the case, then you buy down the rate and figure out
Yeah,
what your offer.
correct. And that's a phenomenal point to be sharing with your buyers during that education process. What do you mean I can buy down the rate? Well, we're in a market right now where we can come in more aggressively with our offers, and maybe we can get the seller to buy down the rate for us.
Right.
What are other objections or challenges you're facing with buyers?
Only other thing is maybe inventory being lower in certain areas. But in that case, go knock on doors. And
Yeah,
then,
that's exactly it. When 2020 hit and the MRA tells us that one listing should produce two buyers, properly marketed listing. Well, when a market flips like that, well, then one buyer should produce two listings. You should be advertising your buyer as if they were a listing. Go to the neighborhood that they want and say, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a buyer who wants to be in this neighborhood. For the right price and the right conditions, would you consider selling your home?
I have a flyer I created that says, excuse me, I have a pre-qualified buyer wanting to live in your neighborhood. Do you want to list your house, or do you want to sell your house?
Perfect. No fluff, just that's it.
Hmm.
And what happens when they don't, when your buyer doesn't want that house?
Hopefully, I get the listing.
Hopefully you get the list.
I have other buyers. They're the buyers that are looking for houses. Let's get
Exactly. Activity breeds results.
it. Hmm.
What doesn't work is when we sit around and do nothing.
Hmm.
What are some other challenges? I'm going to read something from Shift for you guys real quick. I'll be right back. It's a little snippet of Shift to get your day going, something exciting. So, So what matters most? If we step back and look at our business, we can see that there are actually six competencies at the core of what we do as real estate professionals. First, we lead generate, capture and convert leads to appointments. Second, we present to potential buyers and sellers and get representation agreements signed. Third, we show our buyers and market our sellers. Fourth, we write and negotiate purchase contracts. Fifth, we coordinate our resulting sales to closings. And sixth, we manage the money that flows through our business. We actually discuss all six on page 38 as they relate to leverage and delegation. But These six core competencies are really an outline for our basic sales job description, the areas that must be done from the beginning to end for any real estate transaction. And although they're all important, none can be left undone. They're very different in two key ways. Which one matters most and which one can and can't be successfully delegated. Areas 2 through 6 can effectively be delegated with a high degree of success and predictable cost. We know this because top agents do it all the time with tremendous results. Plus, we also know that we have to pay for people to do things through we have to pay people to do through 2 through 6 for us. For it's all been well documented. This is the part that I really want to lean into. Presenting, showing, writing, negotiating, coordinating closings, and managing money are all activities to a certain degree that can be delegated successfully. However, it is extremely difficult to effectively delegate number one, lead generation and conversion to appointment. Why? The skill it takes to generate a lead, capture appropriate information, and then convert that lead to an appointment is a distinct skill set that takes extensive practice over time to develop at a high level, and it's where the money is. We observed that when top agents delegate lead generation and appointment setting, their conversion rate usually falls upward from 80% to less than 10%. When there are lots of leads to burn through, this isn't as big of a deal, as big of a problem as when there are few to be found. In a shift, every single lead is essential to hitting a minimum goal. Lead generation can't be delegated. It's a dirty job to be done by someone, and that someone is you. So when you leave your house each morning and say, honey, I'm going to work, here's the all important question. Are you going to do the number one thing or something else? It's a great question and gets you to the very heart of achievement and success in our business. I cannot beat this point into you guys enough. Options 2 through 6 are the things that are exciting. Those are the reasons you got into real estate. You got into real estate to show houses and post on Instagram and have freedom and write contracts and buy closing gifts. That's the part of this industry that was fun and exciting and looks good. You don't get to do any of that unless you lead generate.
Mhm.
You don't get to give your business cards and your marketing stuff away unless you lead generate. Period. End of story. So when you're looking at your calendar and there are time blocks and it is not showing, presenting, negotiating, it should be lead generating, nothing else. Because nothing, unless you have piles of money waiting for you, nothing else is important other than lead generating until you get to your business to the level in which you want to. And it's going to be hard at first. Lead generation isn't fun. It's hard, but it gets easier the more times you pick up the phone, the more doors you knock on, the more open houses you hold, the more people you message on Facebook and Instagram. It gets easier. The only reason it's hard is because it's uncomfortable and you haven't done it 10,000 times.
The more you
But
do it, the more it becomes second nature too.
it becomes second nature. It's just what you have to do. When I go on vacation, when I was in peak real estate sales, I was going on vacation and all I did not care about the other things, but if I didn't lead generate, my skin would crawl.
Mhm.
Lead generation is the thing. Period. End of story. And if you're not willing to do that, this isn't the industry for you, or you need to join a team that just gives you leads. And guess what? Those leads, those teams still make you call those leads.
Mhm.
So I can sit here and talk about buyers and all of these things, but it is prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Prospecting based, marketing enhanced. You have to earn the right to market because marketing costs money. Prospecting, I'm going hunting. Marketing, it's coming to me and I'm just casting a big net. And I want you to think of it in three ways. And this is just kind of an aha I've had. We talked about it yesterday. It is like a real estate business without lead generation is like a farmer waiting for crop to grow without ever planting the seed.
Mhm.
So you have three things that you have to do every single day. You have to plant more seeds. You have to water those seeds. follow up, follow through, follow back, and then you have to harvest the crop every single day. If you can't say, I planted more seeds, I watered those seeds, and I harvested crop today, then you didn't have a successful day in this industry. And I get that I'm a little crass and abrasive sometimes, but it's just the truth. It is just the truth. You don't get to sell houses unless you talk to more people. So it is 8:47, and if you pack your bags up at 4:30 today and you didn't add one person into your database, you did not play real estate agent. You were acting today.
Mhm.
It is your job to talk to people. Again, I'm sorry that I'm coming at you direct and that's just how I come at you, but there's no other way around it. Because the fun stuff that has the realtor tag on it is earned by prospecting. Every agent who's going out and showing how many houses she's showing or he's showing and all these listing videos, guess how they got that? It didn't fall from the sky. They earned the right to do that by the gritty, dirty stuff up front. And if you're waiting for a windfall, guess what? They don't have scratch offs in this industry with leads.
I wish they did.
I wish they did too, but they don't. They have a phone, a door knocking, your database, open houses. That's what they have. Period. End of story.
Mhm.
And then the conversation is, okay, how many people are you requiring to put into your database? If you don't know the economic model, I'm going to try to teach it to you in 5 minutes and then let you guys go. How many transactions do you want to do to make the money in which you want to make? Understand that 75% of the people that you don't have, you're going to have a 75% fallout rate from the people that sign a contract with you to actually close. From the people that you actually sign a contract with, 75% of the people you meet with won't, 25% of the people you meet with won't sign a contract with you. Then you have another 75% of the people that schedule appointments with you that don't show up, that don't sign with you, that don't close. And then you need to break it down to how many people do I need in my database to have that many appointments a month? And if you don't have that number of appointments in your month, well, then that's how many people you need to add to your database. Unless you have enough people in your database to achieve your goal right now, your number one job is to add people to your database because the math doesn't math. Your database is worth 3 to 6%. And guess what? In this market, it's worth 3%. You got 100 people, you're going to have 3 transactions if you communicate with it. You want to sell 12 houses? Guess what? You need to add 300 people into your database tomorrow. You don't have time to add one a day. You're in a full out sprint. If your back is up against the wall in this industry, go talk to more people and transactions will come. If it's not, then you can walk on through and I encourage you to continue to build your database and grow it every single day and whatnot. But if your back is against this wall, there is no other industry because your boss at a salary job's not coming to save you. They don't care. You're paid what you're paid. What questions do you have? What ahas do we have? We'll give you guys 5 minutes back. We'll give me 4 minutes to talk. Give me an aha
Got to put the work in every day.
every day.
You can't sit back and wait for it to happen. You got to go out there and do it to get the results you want.
Correct. No lottery ticket. You're in an industry that takes a lot of work and there's a lot of competition.
I find that a lot of people think that realtors just show houses and write contracts and that's all they do. and you really have to put the work in there to get to that point.
Yeah. My best friend Austin is one of the top agents in Columbus, and he always tells people all the time when they say, "Hey, Austin, I think I want to get into real estate." He goes, "Oh, that's awesome! You get your license, you make $1 million."
Good luck with that.
Yep. It looks glamorous,
Hmm.
and it can be if you do the work on the front end. Give me another aha.
I'd say on a positive note, 90 whatever percent of agents aren't doing that.
Correct.
So if you do it, it's very easy to outshine them, to outwork them, to out hustle them. I mean, it takes effort, but it's not an exorbitant amount of effort to do more than most are doing. So
100%.
Absolutely.
Like you hit it, you hit the nail on the head, or however that thing goes. There are 8,200 agents, or however many agents are in this board. I promise you, like Mark said, 95% of them are walking through this industry. 4% of them are jogging and 1% of them are sprinting.
Yep.
What's really cool about the market that we're in is those top agents that you're like, how do I compete with them? How do I compete with them? Well, guess what? They were dead sprint for the last 4 years. The market shifted and now they've taken their foot off the gas. You can catch up to people when they're not running full speed. It's hard to catch up with people when they're running full speed.
Hmm.
Even the top agents are taking their foot off the gas right now.
That's when you got to push down further.
Correct. Give me another one. I love that, Mark. Do the work on the front end. Most agents aren't doing this. Most agents aren't following up twice.
One thing I'll say for newer agents that may not know this, you get these business cards and you hand out one at a time. When I give business card to someone that I've talked to about buying a house or selling a house, I give them three extra and say, "Hey, this is one's for you, and these are three for people you may know that need to talk to me." Don't be a secret agent. Give those cards out. Leave a stack somewhere.
It's your job, Lori.
Hmm.
Tell more people about you.
Yep.
Ask.
You have to, otherwise you're just gonna wait and nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah. And they might throw one card away. It's hard for them to throw three away.
Hmm.
Give me another aha. Give me an action item we're going to take from this. And then
So
I'll let you go.
I've been working on my database, and one thing that I've made myself do is to, and I'm guilty. I don't do the A's this day, B's this day, A and H or whatever the letters are. I
Yeah.
I just look through and say, okay, here's someone I want to talk to you, and then I use that letter and I kind of go through the list of the letter. But I either call them, or text them, or email them, or send them a Facebook message. But I'm making myself do that even more. And I called someone the other day and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I've been thinking about you." And come to find out they have someone that may want to buy a house. And I didn't have to ask them. I just called to say hi.
Now, is that luck or are you just doing the work, Lori?
I'm doing the work. I'm doing the work.
Yeah. You do the work consistently and it shows up, and then all of a sudden you just get lucky and you're like, wow, this luck will run out. No, it won't, dummies.
I have a new listing coming and I look on Facebook every day. It's one thing I make time for. And I went on there and I saw someone I know that I haven't spoken to in a long time, but we weren't good friends, but we knew each other, that said they were listing their house. And so I sent her a message, said, "Hey, that's great. Where's your house at? Give me the address. By the way, where are you going?" And she already has a realtor, but she told me what she's looking for. My new listing coming this week sounds like exactly what she's looking for. So I sent her the info.
I love it. I love it. Just
Hmm.
me and more communication with more people more often.
Hmm.
All right, friends, go talk to people. If you did not feed, if you did not plant seeds, if you did not water them, and if you did not pull a harvest, you were not a farmer today. You were cosplaying as one.
I like that.
Go out and do it. I will see you guys soon, friends. Steven?
Good. Thanks, man.
Awesome. See you guys.
See you.
Thank you very much.